Hello, all you rebel scum, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Padawan Podcast, brought to you by both Movie Talk Express and Apocaflix Movies. This is the podcast where we geek out on everything from the galaxy far, far away, Star Wars. I am your host, Jake Berlin, and I am joined today by one of the co-founders of Movie Talk Express, Jacob Bartley. How's it going, man?
It's pretty good, man. Happy Force Friday, everybody. I'm so excited to start the Padawan Podcast. You heard it, the Padawan Podcast. And I just can't wait to geek out about Star Wars. I love everything Star Wars. And thanks for hosting, man.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, I'm happy to do this. As you know, I'm a huge Star Wars guy. Love it. All-time favorite. So real quick, why don't we just let's go over our love for Star Wars and why we decided to go with the Padawan Podcast.
So I mean, a lot of people can say this, but I grew up. Star Wars is my childhood. Like everything Star Wars. My dad grew up Star Wars. He passed on to me his Star Wars toys from the original trilogy, which I didn't know what I was doing. I freaking lost and broke them all like a stupid little kid. But I can't explain my love for Star Wars. It's something that's intangible. Like I can't. I don't know, man. It's such a. We wouldn't have things like the Marvel Cinematic Universe today if it wasn't for Star Wars.
Definitely.
Like, I absolutely love it. Like when that first trailer came out for The Force Awakens, I got so much chills. And yeah, I can't wait to just talk about Star Wars every other week, however often we do this. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm the same. Grew up on it, as far as I know, it was the first introduction to movies I ever had.
Yeah, me too.
True live action instead of like animation stuff. I still have the old VHS tapes that I was given, I got the DVDs.
That's awesome.
It's definitely a special place in my heart. So real quick, we're going to go over a bunch of stuff for the show, got about 5 or 6 topics that we're going to talk about. We're planning on doing the show every other week. There won't be a huge boat of Star Wars news coming out every day like normal stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So we're planning on, kind of collecting it all at the end of 2 weeks and going over it all. Today we're just going to kind of go over a bunch of stuff that you may have heard of from the past couple weeks or so, run through it for our first episode. But to start, we're actually going to talk about our Star Wars names.
Yeah.
We felt that, a Star Wars podcast, maybe give us some little nicknames to go by for our podcast that we go by every week. So why don't you go ahead and start?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to give a shout out to Collider's Jedi Council. They kind of inspired us to do this show in a way.
Definitely.
Christian Harloff, John Campia, Mark Ellis. I get a lot of inspiration from them as far as movie punditry, and I kind of got the idea of this podcast from them. So shout out to them. And they do the same thing. They have Star Wars names, so we figured we'd give ourselves Star Wars names. And I'm not 100% set on this, but this is what I'm going to roll with for now. So my name's Jacob Bartley. There's not many plays you can do on Star Wars names with that. So in honor of Jango Fett from the Star Wars prequels, Boba Fett's father, my Star Wars name from here until I come up with a better one, or I might keep it. It's Jacob Fett. So simple, Jacob Fett.
So I am also kind of torn between two right now.
Yeah, I kind of
one
changed
of them.
Your mind.
Thank you for doing that. But I'm also Jake is a hard name to go by. I'm torn between both Qui-Gon Jake and BB Jake.
Oh man, that's
okay.
They're both so awesome.
They're so great. I don't know what I'm gonna go by. I might go by both for a few weeks. I might go by one this week and one the next week. I don't know. But those are the two I'm deciding for, and they're both awesome. I would go by both if I could.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah. So, but let's jump into our first topic real quick. So, The Force Awakens. We've gone over this before, but last week. Some news came out with the Empire magazine issue about Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren, and Supreme Leader Snoke, who's played by Andy Serkis. And some of the stuff that J.J. Abrams dropped was saying that Kylo Ren is not a Sith, that he is just a Dark Force user who's kind of a Vader-obsessed follower, and he's working under Andy Serkis' Snoke character. So what are your initial thoughts on what you heard about this?
I feel like this is something we could have already assumed in a way, because I don't think the Sith Lords and the Rule of Two are such a strong presence in this new Star Wars world 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi.
And both Master and Apprentice died at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
So who starts it?
I don't think that Rule of Two is going to be enforced, and I do think that Supreme Leader Snoke is a Sith Lord. I believe that, but I don't think Adam Driver's character, Kylo Ren, is necessarily a Sith Lord, but I do think he's Force sensitive. He has the Force. I mean, it's evident. We see him waving his hand in the trailers.
So he's a dark Force user.
Yes, and I'm not too familiar with Rebels and the Clone Wars and stuff. I'm totally planning on watching Rebels as soon as I can. Just been really busy, but so I know the word Inquisitor.
Yes,
Inquisitors are Force sensitive, right?
Yeah,
they're not Sith Lords.
They are almost Force sensitive bounty hunters in a way.
Okay, so I think he's going to be similar to he's not going to be literally called an Inquisitor, but I think it's something similar to that. But
his allegiance is to Snoke as a Force user.
I do think that that he will eventually become. I don't think they're going to call it a Sith Lord, and like I said, I don't think we're ever going to go back to the Rule of Two, but I do think he's going to eventually become as powerful as a Sith Lord. He is the Darth Vader of this new trilogy, from my opinion, and who doesn't think that? But I think eventually he's gonna be more powerful than Supreme Leader Snoke. Eventually,
I like it.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, I'm 100% with you. I think that I think we will see him eventually become a Sith Lord, whether they call him that or not. I'm not sure. Him working under Snoke, it makes sense from what we've seen. And it only brings that many more questions to the table. Who really is Snoke? It's very interesting stuff, and I do agree with you. I think he will be Darth Vader of this trilogy. Whether he's as iconic as that, I doubt it. But who knows? I mean, you never know.
You never know, but it's Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly. But you mentioned that Snoke. You think Snoke is a Sith Lord, so let's go ahead and move on to that for Supreme Leader Snoke. So is he the Emperor of this trilogy?
Yes.
Okay.
I absolutely. Who else is? Unless there's a character we don't know of.
Yeah.
I mean,
as far as we know, yes.
They're not going to go beat for beat, same idea, same type of character as the Emperor, but he is the guy behind the scene, pulling the strings. We haven't seen him yet. And
which is really cool, which I kind of like.
It's a motion capture character, and I know the next question you're going to ask.
Oh, yeah. I've been sitting on this for a while.
Which I'll be glad to get my thoughts on that as well. But.
So let's move into that then. I do think he's also the Emperor of this trilogy. So is he quote unquote Kylo Ren's master? And if so, is he a character so called, or is Supreme Leader Snoke not his name? I'll say that for now.
Okay, so I do, of course, I believe he's Kylo Ren's master, but not exactly in the same way how the Emperor,
master.
Not like, the Rule of Two, like I said. I don't think it's going to be that, but he is taking orders from Snoke. I'll say that. And I think Snoke is a name that he's taken on over time to cover himself up.
How long do you think he's been around? Do you think he's been around long enough before the prequels?
Yes, of course.
So you know where I'm going with this, right? Okay, I'll just ask it. Yeah. Is he Darth Plagueis?
I think he is.
Okay.
And we know Darth Plagueis has been explored a lot in the Star Wars Legends, which is all the
expanded universe.
Which all the books that's not canon, that's not the true history of Star Wars. But Darth Plagueis is canon. Chancellor Supreme, the Emperor, mentioned him in
Palpatine.
Oh, Palpatine. Yes, sorry, my bad.
You're good. You're good.
He mentioned him in Revenge of the Sith. He tells one of the best scenes in that movie.
Anakin, that's
Revenge of the Sith is not a horrible movie in my opinion, but that's one of the best scenes in the movie when they're sitting up on that balcony and he tells him about Darth Plagueis and how,
he's saying that from his perspective.
How Darth Plagueis has been known to cheat death.
Yes.
I honestly believe that Supreme Leader Snoke is Darth Plagueis. Not exactly how he's portrayed in the books in Star Wars Legends, the expanded universe, but this is going to be what they came up with as their interpretation of Darth Plagueis. I think he's going to look like Darth Plagueis, and it ties everything together because
it's so good.
He existed before the prequels.
It's so good.
So his timeline can expand from before the prequels, through the prequels, in between the prequels and the original trilogy, in the original. So he's alive this whole time. Who knows? Maybe he went into a deep sleep.
You know what that means, though, right? If he is Plagueis?
What?
Star Wars Anthology Plagueis.
Yes.
With Andy Serkis.
With the freaking Emperor, a young Emperor.
Okay, so real quick, I totally agree with you. I think that he is, like you said, I don't know if he's a master per se, but he is the master. And I do believe that he is Plagueis. I think every sign is pointing towards it.
And the Daisy Ridley's staff,
the staff is the biggest selling point, okay? From the second we saw any kind of footage of Star Wars, we saw the staff.
And they've been marketing the hell out of that
It's
staff.
been on everything. It looks exactly like the staff. There was also even, I don't know if you saw this or not, but there was a behind-the-scenes shot of Andy Serkis filming, and he had a staff in hand.
Really?
It didn't look like, but it would look like a staff.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Man,
there's a behind where he's filming in motion capture with a staff in his hand. So I do believe that he is Plagueis. I hope he's Plagueis. Like you said, he might not look exactly like him or be the Plagueis that we know from the expanded universe, but it does tie everything together. It's awesome if he is. It opens up a wide range of stories and possibilities, and it's great stuff. Okay, so let's move on to another big piece of news that dropped this week for episode 8, which is going to be directed by Rian Johnson. A female lead shortlist came out for the movie. Apparently, they are doing test screenings, and the 3 names that are on the list right now are Gina Rodriguez, who is on Jane the Virgin, I believe, Tatiana Maslany, who does Orphan Black, and Olivia Cook, who was just recently starred in Me and Earl, a Dying Girl. 3 women who Tatiana Maslany was actually rumored for Rogue One.
Oh, really?
She was actually on the short list for Rogue One before Felicity Jones got it.
Oh, yeah, she was. You're right.
So it looks
like
Disney's been trying to go after her for a Star Wars role for a while now. But what are your initial thoughts on these 3 names, and do you think that, or what kind of character do you think this female lead role could possibly be?
Well, let me start with, I'm not familiar with either of these actresses. I haven't watched Jane the Virgin. I haven't seen Me or the Dying Girl. I really want to see that movie though. It's on my.
I've heard she's really, really good in it.
Yeah, it's one of the movies I'm gonna watch.
She's also in the show Bates Motel.
Is she?
She's the
I've
girl
only
with
watched
cancer.
season 1.
She's one of her Norman's good friends with cancer.
Is she in season 1?
Yeah, she's in.
Okay.
She's basically a main character now.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna
she's
have
in
to
that
go
show,
back
yeah.
and check it out. I don't really remember her, but yeah. So I got to start that by I don't know these actresses. I'm not familiar with their work, but I mean, as far as I've heard, as far as I know, they're all talented.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I love Star Wars is going after talent. They're not going after name recognition. They're going after talent. That's what excites me, and so any of those I'm totally fine with, especially because I'm not familiar with the work, but I've heard they're all talented. But I know a lot of people are saying that they're going to be a solo kid or related to Luke, Leia, and Han, or in that something like that. But I don't think so, because if you look at these actresses, they all look Latina, like all
Yeah, they don't look
Hispanic.
like Harrison Ford's daughter.
They all look like Hispanic. So
And also, they're young enough to where it seems like Solo and Leia kind of took 10 years, then had a kid.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you could say the same thing for Rey.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how old she's going to be, though, in the movie.
Yeah, but I would say she doesn't look older than that.
No, not at all, no.
But Adam Driver does. So obviously, if we don't know if Kylo Ren is their kid, but if he is, he would make sense being their first kid.
Yes.
You could say he's 30. You know?
for sure.
But yeah, nothing but good news. Talent. You can't go wrong.
I'm totally with you. I'm only familiar with Olivia Cook. I've seen her in Bates Motel for the past 3 seasons, but I've heard nothing but great things from the other 2, and the most being Tatiana Maslany. I've heard that she absolutely kills it on Orphan Black.
Yeah, so have I.
And I guess she plays like 4 or 5 different characters on the show.
That is really, I don't understand that.
Which is kind of a cool thing to think about. Like maybe she's already broadened her horizon. And
because she has to play so many different characters.
Maybe that's why they're looking at her so much, like for all these different kind of characters. So her name definitely intrigues me the most, but I'm like you, I'm not as familiar with them in a big super role. But as far as them casting a female lead in episode 8, it brings up a question: what does it mean for a character like Rey, who is supposed to be, or as we thought of, the lead for the next trilogy of movies? Like, does she die at the end of episode 7, or is it just another add-on of female lead? Like, what happens in episode 8 with Rey if this is a female lead?
No, I don't think Rey's gonna die. Not at all. She is. I mean, even though she's a woman, she is the Luke Skywalker of this trilogy.
That's
in
how
my
I
opinion.
feel about it. Yeah,
I
totally agree with you.
But so she's not going anywhere. But there is another character I think might die, but maybe I'll bring that up later. So I just think she's going to be another lead. So these Star Wars, the trilogy movies, you can relate them to they're in a way they're ensemble movies. Like there's 5 or 6 main characters arguably
for sure
in each movie, you know? Of course there's the one person you focus on, and then, but Leia and Han and Darth Vader and Boba Fett, they're just as popular, maybe even more so than Luke, even though Luke's the main character. Mm-hmm. So if you look at it as an ensemble similar to the Avengers, who's the star of the Avengers? Maybe Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, but then Scarlett Johansson and Mark Ruffalo, they're leads too, right? So why not have Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, and she can just come in and be another lead.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to take over somebody's spot,
Also, it kind of falls in line with what the Star Wars trilogies have done, where episode 5, you saw someone like Lando introduced.
Yeah.
Also, Yoda was
exactly.
introduced.
So, and how iconic are they?
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe it's going to add another level to the character list, and it brings up definitely a lot of interesting questions, and hopefully we'll know a lot more of it on soon. Next, something came out past couple days for episode 8 as well. We officially know, as one of the villains of episode 8 is Benicio del Toro let slip that he is in fact playing a bad guy in episode 8 for Rian Johnson. While talking with a Spanish outlet, Del Toro was asked what his upcoming schedule looked like, and he said, "Star Wars is coming up. We will see how that turns out. I think we start shooting in March." He also followed with, the thing is, they don't let me talk about it too much. I'm like the villain, but we'll see.
Wow.
So
I'm like the villain.
Yeah, that brings up a very interesting question. So my take on it is that he won't be the main villain. He'll almost be like a Boba Fett type character. Someone who doesn't know what side he is on, or he's just working for what advantages he
exactly
sees.
And he's not necessarily evil.
Yes.
So this is great news. Benicio del Toro is an Academy Award winning actor.
Yes.
So
and a great villain.
Like I said before, talent is the key word here. Star Wars, I've heard some people say, Benicio del Toro is too big of a name. If I ask my mom who Benicio del Toro is, she's going to have no idea. He's not a huge movie star. He's not Brad Pitt. He's not Will Smith.
He's a movie star, a guy to people to the film world.
Yeah, to film geeks. He's not a Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's going to take you out of the movie because his face is so recognizable. I think this is great news. There's so many characters in Star Wars, man. What's going on? Because we already have Kylo Ren, Supreme Leader Snoke, Captain Phasma, General Hux, and then we're getting the other female lead and then another villain. Wow. But I don't mind that. I don't think that's a problem. The more the merrier. But it raises some questions for me. The only thing that might worry me is I didn't really love his character in Guardians of the Galaxy. The Collector. He wasn't bad or anything, but he was just...
It was weird.
He was just a little over the top.
Yeah.
For me. Not that they're going to even mimic that character at all. I don't think so, but I don't want him to play like have that similar style in a Star Wars movie. I don't think they will. That tone wouldn't fit in Star Wars. So
let me throw a wild theory at you real quick.
Okay.
Do you think it's possible, or let me say, what's the percentage chance that he could possibly be playing a Boba Fett?
Wow. Oh, shoot. Huh. It would make sense.
Maybe he escaped the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
Like we've all thought he has been.
Talk about one of the stupid things in the original Star Wars trilogy, the way Boba Fett dies.
Yes, definitely. But he eventually moved on and got out, like in every other story in the expanded universe.
Yeah,
so maybe they make that canon.
And how old is Benicio del Toro?
He's about 30. Well, I don't know. He's older, but he fits the age.
Exactly. I think he might be in his 50s, man.
He's got to be in his at least 50s.
So, I mean, I don't want to try to keep track of all the timeline. Like, how old was he in the prequels? How old was he in the... But you can make... Even if Benicio del Toro is 50, you could say he's 65 if you have to.
Well, so he's like, what, 13 probably in episode 2?
Yeah.
And then you take another 20 years to get to Empire.
33.
33.
He could be 60.
60, 65.
And he could still be a badass, you know? Or, yeah.
So what do you think?
It's a possibility.
So percentage. I'll give me a percentage. I'll percentage.
Look, I want that to happen, and the idea excites me, but I'm going to go with like 25% because it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
But as far as me wanting it to be true, 100%. But
yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a great choice for a villain. He absolutely kills it in every role that I've seen him in, at least. I'm very excited to see him in the movie Sicario coming up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And whether he's a bounty hunter, a Sith Lord, or some kind of side villain that we know, like you said, Star Wars is getting talent and very, very good talent. So it only seems like the Star Wars universe is getting much bigger, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All right, moving on to the next story. We're going to move on to Star Wars Rogue One, the first anthology film from the Star Wars universe. And it's a very odd story in my mind. And it comes about Grand Moff Tarkin, who was seen in Episode 4. And he just had a book on him that's officially canon. A story came out last week from the Daily Mail, and they were reporting that the original actor Peter Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin, will be digitally resurrected for the upcoming spinoff Rogue One. For what we don't know how if this is true or not, but that's what they were reporting. So initial thoughts of what you think about recreating an actor who passed away years ago.
I am a little mixed on this because I understand, like, for nostalgia reasons, they want to bring him back, and as a fan, it would be cool to actually have to see him as Tarkin, but I don't want it to be true because, I mean, they said they're doing it, so it is true.
Yeah, well, a source tells the Daily Mail that this is one of the most complex and costly CGI recreations ever. Cushing is a pivotal plot line, as he was the one to create Darth Vader, and there's a whole backstory that will come out.
All right, so if it is true, I think it's kind of stupid, honestly, because just have somebody play him.
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
recast him. Why go through the trouble? Just cast an actor. They want to make sure people know it's Tarkin. Just say it's Tarkin. That's all you have to do. The young kids who are going to be reintroduced to Star Wars and get to know this Tarkin character to whatever extent his role is, they're not going to care that it looks like the actor from the original trilogy. Nobody's going to care. Maybe the people like my dad will get a kick out of it, like, oh, that's cool, but it's unnecessary. That's the perfect word. It's unnecessary.
Totally agree with you. I don't understand why they would go through the trouble, like you said. You recast people all the time.
Yeah, for everything.
Movies. It just makes sense to do that. And even for Episode 3, they recasted. They digitally formed some, face stuff in episode 3 at the end.
Yeah.
To make him look like Tarkin.
Yeah.
But it was a different actor.
Why not do that?
Exactly. So, I hope it's not true. We don't know how much of a role Tarkin has, but from what we've heard about the story and from the book, it seems like Tarkin might be a huge role in this movie because he was in charge of the Death Star, and the Rogue One is about the stealing of the original Death Star plans.
Yes, I
so
believe
he's in charge of those plans.
I agree that the character should be an important part of the film, but you don't need to recreate him with CGI.
No, definitely agree with you. Okay, so moving on, another Rogue One topic that we're going to go with. Felicity Jones, who is the lead character in Gareth Edwards' standalone movie. We know that we don't know her name yet. We don't know exactly who she's playing. It's become a lot of talk and rumors and speculation over the last couple of months of who exactly she is playing. We got that first look image that kind of gave us a look into who her character is. And some speculated names have been thrown around as the fact that maybe she's Boba Fett's daughter. Maybe she's Sabine from Rebels, who's a Mandalorian warrior. She wears Mandalorian gear. She also went through the Imperial Academy at one point.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And there's also a character from the Darth Vader comic book series called Dr. Aphra. Who
I've heard about her.
I'll get into that a little bit later, but do you think that she could possibly be an established character in canon already, or do you think she is a brand new character we haven't seen before? Or what do you hope for, at least?
Well, those are two different things. What I think and what I hope for. I think she might be an established character. See, I'm not really familiar with these characters that you brought up, Sabine and Aphra. I know of them, but I like I said, I haven't watched Rebels yet, but I'm going to get on that. We're going to have a episode in the future totally dedicated to talking about Rebels Season 1.
Definitely.
Sometime before Rebels Season 2 starts.
Yeah, so we got about 2 months until then.
Yeah, so I'll do that this month sometime. But as far as what I hope for, I just hope she's a new character that we don't know, honestly.
So
why does it have to be somebody?
Why make the Star Wars universe smaller?
Exactly. Have her be a new character. We don't know. We never met, unless we do in Rebels, we never met anyone on the team who was involved in stealing the Death Star plans, right?
No. As far as we know, no.
Not in canon, right? So why not have her be a new character? If she is an established character or she's connected to an existing character, sure, Sabine or Aphra, that sounds cool. But so as far as I know, Aphra is a droid programmer who works with Darth Vader in the comics, and she programs these droids who are killer droids, right?
So the killer droids are actually almost the evil twins of C-3PO and R2-D2.
So why would she be working with Vader and then steal the Death Star plans? I don't know. But one thing which I do not want is her to be Boba Fett's daughter. No. Please, no. Everything doesn't have to connect. And I say that while being happy that we're potentially getting Han's kids, Leia's kids, Luke's kids. That's fine because Star Wars, when you really come down to it, it's about the Skywalkers.
The episodes are about the Skywalkers.
The episodes, there's such a grand, bigger universe. But episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are about the Skywalkers. And I think you must continue that in 7, 8, 9. And if you want to continue with 10, 11, 12, please. But don't make Felicity Jones' character Boba Fett's daughter, please. I mean, if they do it, and it could be awesome. It could be great. She could be my favorite character in Star Wars ever as, Boba Fett's daughter. But I don't want that to be so.
I'm with you. I do not want to see her as Boba Fett's daughter. I want something new, fresh. I don't think you should make the Star Wars universe smaller when it's so, like you said, grand and big. I actually wouldn't mind her being Sabine, though. I know you haven't got a chance to see Rebels yet, but Sabine is actually a very, very cool character on the show. And it kind of makes sense that she could possibly be Sabine. She does look like her a little bit, just without the helmet and everything. I don't think it's true. I kind of wish it would be true because it would tie everything together pretty coolly.
Is
But
Sabine force sensitive?
not that we know of.
Okay.
She's more of a she fights like Boba Fett. She has a Mandalorian helmet and gear and weapons and stuff like that.
Okay.
She is not force sensitive as far as we know. But Dr. Aphra is a very interesting theory because she in Darth Vader issue 3, Vader finds her and almost brings her in as an apprentice almost.
Okay.
And Vader's kind of on his own mission right now, doing his own things. She comes in and helps him out a little bit, does some stuff. It's going to be interesting to see where that relationship goes in the comics. And if it goes sour, this theory could get a lot more backing to it for
Aphra?
sure. Yeah.
So here's the thing. When I said earlier, I don't know how she could be working for Vader and then go steal the Death Star plans, but actually when I think about it, it makes sense because if it does go sour, then she knows Vader.
Exactly.
She knows how to infiltrate his,
She's basically a high-tech, high-intelligent computer hacker almost.
Yeah, and that would make total sense because she's probably been on the Death Star. I don't know, but maybe in the future she gets involved.
We'll see. Well, hopefully we'll see where it goes.
She's involved
in
with Tarkin and the Death Star, and
Yeah.
she knows it, and then she would be the perfect character to infiltrate and steal the Death Star plans. So
No, it brings up some very interesting questions.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll know soon because the movie comes out next year.
But honestly, if you ask me, Jacob, well, who do you want Felicity Jones to be? I would say a new character.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I have another question for you. Do you think she makes it out of Rogue One?
No, because we don't, like I said, we don't hear about or know who was involved in stealing the Death Star plans.
Mm-hmm.
I could see.
Do you see anybody making it out of Rogue One?
Yeah, I think 1 or 2 or 3 of the characters will make it out, but especially if they could do a Rogue One trilogy.
Yeah,
they
very,
could.
very possible.
If Rogue One is a great hit critically and it makes $800 million,
They can follow this team
at the box
of
office.
Rebels.
You could do that. Like, what did they do after they stole the Death Star plans? They're going to lose some guys on the way.
For sure.
But I know they're saying that Darth Vader is going to appear in hologram form in the movie, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it's not
but
for sure.
If Tarkin shows up, Vader shows up in form.
Okay.
Because Tarkin sent Vader after the plans.
All right. I want to see Vader.
You will see Vader.
I want to see Vader not in hologram form. I want to see Vader.
I think we'll see full form Vader.
So I think so Sabine is not force sensitive, right?
Not that we know of.
Okay. So do you think one of the characters in this team is force? Oh, but they said who's directing Rogue One again?
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards came and
No,
said that the Jedis aren't going to save the day.
No Jedi doesn't mean there's no force.
You're right. So I was trying to go to there's a big showdown between Vader and somebody, but who can fight Vader?
Nobody.
So,
but that'll be the point of it.
I think, because they have to deliver the Death Star plans to whoever Leia, right?
So from what we know in Episode 4, it opens with the Rebels having the plans.
Okay, so
someone gets the plans to Leia.
What if they're just they have the Death Star plans, they just make it out, and then some of them have to stay behind to hold off Vader while the other ones get away, and those people just get slaughtered by Vader. I think and that would be awesome.
Yeah,
it would be consistent with Vader's. He's killing people left and right. He does not give.
We'll get into that when we talk about the comics a little bit.
Yeah. So
I'm
almost looking to Rogue One more than the trilogy movies.
I'm looking to Rogue One more than Episode 8 right now, just because I don't know about Episode 8.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'm looking more to Episode 7 than Rogue One. But I'm just saying, I said almost.
Here's an absolutely insane theory for you. Could Felicity Jones be playing a young Leia?
I saw that in the show notes, and while it's not totally out of the realm of possibilities, no way.
You don't think so?
No.
She kind of looks like Carrie Fisher, a little bit.
Dark hair, yeah. I mean...
Because we've seen Leia get her hands dirty.
Yeah, but I just don't... I don't think so, because...
It also makes it a little bit smaller, too.
Exactly. It's the same problem.
I hear you.
But
no, I understand.
I wouldn't... If I hear that... Like the fan in me would be geek out if that's
You'd
true.
freak out as soon as
because
you
we
heard
get
it.
a
Yeah.
young Leia,
Yeah.
and then
We know what she turns into.
yeah, and then if you want to tell stories in between episode 6 and 7, she can play Leia in those stories.
Very true.
So that and then you can have it whoever plays young Han Solo eventually
The
can
possibilities are endless.
you can tell that story in between 6 and 7 and have them together, which would be awesome. What were they doing that whole time? See, that's why I'd be happy about it, because I love Felicity Jones, man.
There's a part of me that's bummed that she's in Rogue One, because I have
She
a
might
feeling
not
it's
make
a
it out.
No, just because I have a feeling it's a single movie.
Yeah,
Like, I would
so do
love
I.
to see her in a trilogy or a set of Star Wars movies.
But listen to this. Just because it's a single movie, that doesn't mean the character can't be in other movies.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe we get Rogue One, but we don't get a sequel to Rogue One. We get a movie involving Leia in between episodes 6 and 7. She could play Leia. It'll be perfect age-wise. I think that would be incredible. I mean,
And just this is all speculation on our part. Nothing is.
of course, nobody even said that she's
we
Leia.
are just throwing
this is all
wild
speculation,
theories out
but
here.
I just want to say, I want to see Felicity Jones as Slave Leia. Please. I love Felicity Jones. She is drop dead gorgeous. She was amazing in The Theory of Everything. She's incredible. So I'm happy that she's in this movie. I hope she makes it out, because she's a great actress and I want her in the Star Wars universe. So
100% with you on that one.
yeah, definitely.
All right, well, moving on, we're going to jump into, because it is Force Friday today, and a whole bunch of nice, pretty awesome and kid toys jumped out today in Target and Walmart and other stores. We're going to kind of talk about what we saw. Jacob and I got a chance earlier to go check out a bunch of toys at Target, although there weren't a lot.
They were like pretty much wiped out.
We got to see a little bit of them, and we're able to see some of them online and stuff like that, and just kind of talk about what we saw, what we liked, and do you see anything that you liked or saw?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't go online and look because I wanted to save it for myself to be surprised at Target, and there was barely anything at Target. We saw some Kylo Ren masks, but they were for like a 3-year-old kid.
Yeah,
it looked
kid
like
stuff,
like
yeah.
a 4 or 5-year-old kid. The Millennium Falcon though looked awesome.
Yeah.
I know you want to get that.
Oh yeah, I want to get that in a heartbeat.
But you showed me the trailer, not trailer, but the marketing commercial for the BB-8 remote control toy. Yeah. That looks so awesome. I want one right now.
I'll be getting that pretty soon. I want it bad.
I made a joke earlier. They should make a BB-8 vacuum.
They seriously should though.
They can
have
him,
how perfect it would be.
You can control him having vacuuming stuff around.
Perfect.
That'd be awesome. So, I mean, that excites me. I really want a Kylo Ren action figure, and I did not see any. So on my way home, I'm going to stop by at least 2 Targets and try to find one.
Yeah, I'm with you. The BB-8 one is definitely the best one
that I saw.
Yeah.
That we saw.
When I saw the first pictures and video of it, I was pretty shocked that they were able to do that.
That's incredible.
It's pretty crazy, and it's awesome. It leads into the movie very well, because we're going to see BB-8 for a very, very long time, I have a feeling. So it's definitely pretty cool.
BB-8 is the new R2-D2.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so moving on, I'm going to go into now summarizing or talking about a couple of issues of comics. I know Jacob hasn't got a chance to read them yet.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about Star Wars and the Darth Vader series, issues 1 and 2.
Yeah, I just want to say this is going to be a regular segment on the Padawan Podcast. Near the end of every episode, because Jake's been reading the comics. I'm going to start actually reading them pretty soon. Actually, I'm going to start today. So maybe by the next time we talk about them, I'll be caught up or close to caught up. But just want to let you guys know, this is going to be a regular segment. And Jake's going to dive into the comics, the books, anything outside of the movies that has to do with Star Wars.
So I'm going to start with Star Wars Episode 1, or Issue 1, not Episode 1. That's bad. So these series of comics, they pick up after A New Hope, after Episode 4.
Okay.
As of right now, they are in between Episodes 4 and 5. So Episode 1, Issue 1, picks up on the Empire's most are the biggest weapons factory in the galaxy, where they get all their weapons and all that kind of stuff. And there's a negotiation going on between the Empire and Jabba the Hutt, who has sent a smuggler to negotiate with the Empire for some materials. Well, when it picks up, that smuggler is Han Solo. He is acting. They have intercepted.
Really?
They have intercepted Jabba the Hutt's ship and took it over, and now they are acting as the negotiators.
Nice.
With Han and Leia disguised in the background, obviously, and Chewie sniping up top as
so
a
awesome.
little cover. And so it goes in. You know that there's some back and forth going on between one of the Empire leaders and Han. And then all hell breaks loose, and they start capturing stormtroopers. They start taking over the base a little bit. And then all of a sudden, the negotiator shows up, and it's none other than Vader himself. He is the negotiator. Okay?
How do you negotiate with Vader?
Exactly.
He doesn't negotiate.
That's the part. The Empire leader says to Han, "This isn't a negotiation. We'll tell you our terms, and you're going to accept our terms." And there's a little smart ass comments from Han and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they do eventually, take over part of the base, and they're going after. I guess there's rebels prisoners there, and they're going to blow up the weapons factory. And it ends, or there's parts. Luke pulls out his lightsaber. He goes into action mode, and then Vader shows up, and they kind of go into a split. And at the very end, it's a confrontation between Vader and Luke. At the very end of the conflict.
Really?
Yes. And there's a little back and forth. And in true Vader form, Vader basically just overpowers him.
Of course.
Okay? And that's how it should be, obviously, from what we know. And before, they start talking, and Luke's like, "Oh, you killed Ben Kenobi. I was there on the Death Star." Basically, Vader, at this point, is hunting for the rebel that destroyed the Death Star. But he doesn't know that it's Luke.
Oh, okay.
And so there's back and forth. He's like, "I was on the Death Star. You killed Ben Kenobi, blah, blah, blah," this kind of stuff. He ends up with Luke's lightsaber. And he goes he's about to cut him down, and he notices it.
That it's his old one.
And the comic ends. And it goes to the next issue.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
So going on to the second issue.
Wow.
That's where it picks up. Okay. It's like, "Oh, you are no Jedi, blah, blah, blah." Some back and forth. It's where he picks up. He notices his lightsaber. He says this belonged to, and then he gets crushed by a walker, which is being drove by Han and Leia.
Oh,
in
nice.
true fashion form, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
The rebels end up taking the base. Vader's he's alive and well. He's breaking down rebels here and there with his lightsaber. He's killing people. These comics, I'll say this now, the comics have done a really good job of giving us the Vader we've always wanted. That he is very violent and ruthless and brutal towards people. We had glimpses of it in the movies, but we really get to see it in these comic books.
Wow. That's awesome.
And so we see, Han and Leia, they're destroying the base with this walker. And then Luke, he ends up on a speeder because he has to go after his lightsaber. He's trying to save some rebels, shoots down some stormtroopers in the way. And there's a scene in here that really got me. It's you see Vader in the dark, or he's shadowed, and his helmet's off. His helmet fell off. Yeah, you can't see. You could see his face just a little bit. It's scarred, but he's forcing his helmet towards him again because it fell off when he was crushed by the walker. So Luke ends up getting his saber back. He's like, "Oh, leave the kid to me. You go after everybody else." Right. And that's kind of where it ends. He's walking. So
that's issue 2?
That's issue 2.
Okay.
He's walking towards the rebels, and the stormtroopers are on speeders behind him, going after everybody else.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty cool. It definitely picks up in the right spot. It's some very cool action stuff, and obviously with the Luke Vader stuff, just because they don't know yet, it's pretty cool stuff. The best stuff by far, though, is the Darth Vader comic book.
Really?
It's true Vader Star Wars. It's the best stories. So it picks up with Vader at Jabba the Hutt's palace, the very first shot, and he's there, going. He wants something from Jabba, and in Jabba fashion, he doesn't give it to him. Obviously, he's kind of dancing around him, that kind of stuff. Basically, Vader wants to find a bounty hunter that can go find Luke.
And that's how he meets Boba Fett?
That's how he meets Boba Fett.
Let me just ask you something real quick. So why doesn't Vader just... I mean, I don't know the context, but why doesn't Vader just overpower Jabba the Hutt? And, I mean...
Well, he starts force choking him at one point.
Really?
So Jabba actually calls him a Jedi. And he says, "You called me a Jedi. You know nothing. Mind tricks are not for the dark side." And he starts force choking him.
You know what's funny is Anakin is pod racing in the episode 1, and Jabba the Hutt's there.
Yeah,
that's so funny to me. Continue. Sorry for interrupting.
So no worries at all. So it moves from the palace to Coruscant before we have Vader meeting Bubba.
Okay.
And this issue actually picks up after a few issues of Star Wars, after the Rebels have taken the base and
because they're all interconnecting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so basically, the Emperor is displeased with Vader. He's disappointed in him because he failed him, and you see this tension between them starting to build. And because the Emperor is disappointed with him, he failed. All this kind of stuff. So Vader basically goes a separate way for a while, and now he's going on his own missions almost, doing his own thing, and as well as stuff for the Emperor. He's like, "Oh, you don't fail me again," that kind of stuff. But then there's some flashbacks. The Emperor asks him, "Oh, what happened? Is there anything I need to know about on the weaponry factory?" And there's flashbacks to the scene from episode 4 when he killed Kenobi, of Luke in the X-Wing and him shooting him and saying the Force is strong with this one.
Yeah, I love that line.
And then it shoots to him. There's a flashback of him and Luke in the weapons factory talking, of him looking at his lightsaber. He doesn't tell the Emperor.
Really?
Yeah, he keeps it to himself.
Wow. See, I love Darth Vader. He has so much depth to him.
So there's some secrecy going on between the two of them, the Master and the Apprentice. And this one, because he failed, the Emperor actually puts. So in episode 4, we meet a guy that at the table in the Empire and the Death Star. There's one of the leaders is arguing. I forget his name, but he actually puts him in charge of Darth Vader. Vader now works under him.
Wow.
So he has to work under him now, and he's in charge. So he basically gets demoted.
I don't
the Emperor
see Vader accepting that, honestly. Like, as far as I know Vader, I would expect Vader to be like, F that, kill that guy, and then say, F you, Emperor, I'm going off and doing my own thing. Well, that's what I would expect Vader to do.
He does do his own thing.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
So that guy's put in charge of him, and now he says, take me to Tatooine. So he's going back to Tatooine. This is where Boba Fett comes in. And Boba Fett says, "You're the client." And he goes, "I am, and you're the best Jabba has. Are you bounty hunters up to the challenge?" And it's actually Boba Fett and almost a Wookiee-like character. He's huge though. This huge bounty hunter-looking guy. And he says, "I need you to hunt down a smuggle vessel called the Millennium Falcon." Boba Fett goes, "I know the ship." Yeah.
What?
And he says, "Dead or alive?" And he goes, "Alive. I have use of him."
So that's like, that hints towards history between Boba Fett and Han Solo.
For sure.
That's so, and that means we might see them together in the Han Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah. We'll talk about that another time. But it actually finishes with Vader saying, "Do not fail me." He goes, "The only time I fail is when you hire me to fail. I'll get this kid." He says, "Good. Then let's make our start immediately. I've been delayed on this planet long enough." The shot is, I don't know if it's a flashback or a scene present, but it looks like the flashback of when his mother was killed with the Tusken Raiders.
Really?
He's standing inside of a Tusken village when it's burning around him. And he says...
Wait, but he's not Vader then. right? So,
But he's remembering back then when his mother died.
but does it show him though?
It shows Vader standing in a Tuscan village.
But he might be imagining himself there. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And he says, and all the present business is concluded. And he starts remembering that when he's in the Tuscan Raiders village. Wow. And that's when the episode ends.
Dude, Boba Fett sounds like such a badass. I only fail when you hire me to fail.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Man.
So then issue 2, it actually begins. Let me see. Let me scroll back a little bit. He is now put in charge under this this Empire leader, and he sends him off to a droid factory to take on some rebels. But the big part of this, it comes a little bit later on. He found a rebel spy within the Empire's ranks, and he brings him to the guy he's under. He force chokes him, obviously, in Vader fashion. And it ends with Boba Fett coming to him and saying, "I found the kid," and then it goes to black.
Wow.
And that picks up a little later on. And I think I told you this before, is when he clenches his fist and the glass breaks.
Yeah.
I told you that before.
Yeah.
And then the next issue is when we learn about Dr. Aphra. She comes in. So that's where it picks up, and then those two kind of get a little stuff together. So yeah, those are the first two issues.
Dude. I mean, even though I know everything that happens now, I'm still very much looking forward to reading.
There's
these.
a lot more going on.
And and it's not, and the imagery is what I'm excited to look at.
There's some cool stuff.
So as far as today, you're just going over issues 1 and 2 for Star Wars and Vader.
Yeah.
So then next Padawan podcast, we'll go over issues 3 and 4 for each one. And by that time, I will be caught up. So I'll be able to comment on it and be more knowledgeable about the story. And stuff.
It's great stuff. If you haven't been able to read the comics, I know they're kind of pricey, but they are worth the read. I'm telling you, they are great stuff for any kind of Star Wars fan.
So overall, they're good.
These two comics, yes. I haven't had a chance to read Princess Leia or Kanan yet.
Okay.
But if I was to recommend any, I recommend Darth Vader first, then Star Wars.
Okay. I want to read Kanan, man. So
yeah, so do I.
Maybe by next week we could read, or by next podcast in a couple weeks we could read a couple issues.
I
of
think
Kanan.
it's a 6. Is that a 6? I'm pretty sure it's a 6-issue.
Is
comic.
it? Yeah, because I'm really interested in learning about Kanan, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, doesn't Freddie Prinze Jr. voice him in the Rebels?
He does.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So we're gonna finish up today with Jacob bringing up something that he would like to see happen or talked about in the Force Awakens, the Rogue One, any kind of episodes. Have to do with story, characters, twists, whatever he wants to talk about in the Star Wars universe. So go ahead.
Okay, so this is not something I want to happen. It's just an idea I have that I think is quite possible. So in that teaser clip that came out on Instagram last week, right, or a couple weeks ago, with it's just very 16-second clip, and at the end, sees Kylo Ren with his lightsaber, shows John Boyega light up his lightsaber, and I know you said it looks like they're in different areas, but they're both in the forest.
They are both in the snow forest. They are. I'll give you that one.
Obviously, as far as we know, Kylo Ren has been studying the Force and wielding his lightsaber for a while, and as far as we know and what we think, John Boyega barely touches the lightsaber for the first time in this movie. So we know that if it was just one-on-one straight-up battle, that Kylo Ren would destroy him.
It's like a Vader versus
Luke fight in Episode 4.
Yes.
Okay, so my idea is that Kylo Ren does something in the movie that really pisses off John Boyega. Like, I don't think he kills Rey or anything, because like I said, Rey is the new Luke. But by the final act of this movie, Finn hates Kylo Ren. Okay? So I think, whether John Boyega Finn is Force sensitive or not, I think he's gonna be like, F this, I'm taking you on. Like, maybe Rey and whoever else is with her, maybe Poe Dameron, like, for some reason Kylo Ren's chasing them and Rey needs to get away. Maybe Kylo Ren's trying to get the staff from Rey, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the whole thing. Kylo Ren wants that staff.
Well, if it all
And
comes to what
when we
think.
see John Boyega light up his lightsaber, he's by himself. It doesn't look like anyone's around him. What if he stays behind to hold off Kylo Ren? And he fights Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren kills him. And how much, even though, all right, we think that Finn's going to be a big character going forward, but he can still be a big character and not make it out of this movie. And I know, you probably want to keep him around, but who's to say how great a storyline would that be if he sacrifices himself for the greater good and takes on Kylo Ren to hold him off? But then again, and maybe Kylo Ren kills him and takes the blue lightsaber, and then the movie ends, or like not ends right away, but that's like the final act of the movie. I don't know. It's just an idea I had. I know you don't want Finn to die. You don't think he's gonna die, but what do you think about that?
It's interesting, that's for sure. So you think that happens at the very end of the movie?
Not like the last 10 minutes, but the last like 45 minutes or so.
So I'll even add something to that. What if they found Luke's home, or where he's at, and Luke comes walking out of the forest to save Finn?
See, that's another thing I was thinking. But I was thinking about that. I was going to add that on, but I was like, wouldn't it be a little cheesy? Like, Kylo Ren's about to kill him, and then Luke comes out. Like, I don't know.
No,
it's
very true.
Like, I think
very
it would
true.
be, like, how devastated and shocked would we be if Kylo Ren just kills Finn?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So we know Rey, and, we don't know this, but in my theory, Rey and Poe Dameron and maybe Han, Chewbacca, whatever, are, in my theory, they're trying to get away, and, Finn stays behind to hold him off. They go, the theory is that Luke is going to only be in like the last 10 minutes of the movie. That's what you think, right?
That's what I think, yes.
Where they're going is to meet Luke or whatever, and then the last 15 minutes is Rey meeting Luke and all of that, and then the movie ends.
It would definitely be heartbreaking if Finn died.
Or Kylo Ren defeats Finn, knocks him down, knocks him unconscious, takes the lightsaber and captures him, and then they have to rescue Finn in episode 8. That's even better, I think, because I don't want Finn to die. I was just trying to think of a way, because we see him light up his lightsaber in that forest. He's alone.
As far as we know.
Exactly. This is all speculation. This is all speculation.
As of right now, we've only seen 2 shots in the snow. The one with the cross guard with Kylo Ren, and Finn with his lightsaber. But it's a very interesting theory. That'll be the first time in Star Wars where they kill a major character in the first episode, other than Obi-Wan, obviously.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, Qui-Gon, but he wasn't. I don't think he's going to be as prominent as Finn will be. Finn looks like he's the main guy.
Yeah,
the main character.
Qui-Gon Jinn was arguably the main character in that movie.
Yeah, he was. I'll give you that one.
So it wouldn't be that. The only thing that goes against that is you hire these young actors. You want them to play multiple roles. I think it's more likely that Finn stays behind to take on Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren, for some reason, Snoke is like, don't kill, I want him alive, maybe to use it as a collateral to try to get Rey to come rescue him so they can capture Rey and get the staff. It would make sense.
I know this is the movie's still a year and a half away or whatever, but IMDb only has Oscar Isaac and Benicio del Toro on the cast list.
Wow. IMDb,
it doesn't mean anything, obviously.
I can go change it on IMDb.
Exactly, but there's only Oscar Isaac
weird.
and Benicio del Toro right now.
Maybe they've only... Because didn't Oscar Isaac say something a while ago confirming that he's in the movie?
He might have, yes.
So maybe they're the only two that have confirmed that they're in the film.
That's very possible. But it brings up interesting points.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, yeah, that's my theory.
No, if it happens, it's definitely going to be a shocker.
Yeah.
Because we didn't think Finn would die.
Yeah.
No, none of us have. The only person that we thought would die is Han.
Han, yeah.
And if Han doesn't die, then someone else is probably going to die.
I think it's more likely that they capture Finn.
And I think that'd be a great storyline.
Yeah, and they Rey goes to the cave wherever Luke is, and then she trains with Luke. But by the time episode 8 ends, Rey is a badass, and you don't want to mess with her. And she comes. Her main objective
Also,
to rescue Finn.
There's also that shot in the trailer of Poe Dameron was captured by the stormtroopers. Do you remember that shot?
Oh yeah.
So we don't know if that's the beginning of the movie or somewhere.
I think it's more in the beginning, but who knows? Honestly,
but no, I mean it brings up very interesting points. I would much rather see him captured. I don't want to see him die.
I don't want him to die.
I would love to see this character Finn really fleshed out over the next couple movies.
Yeah. No, I would much rather have him be captured, and I think that is great motivation for Episode 8 because I think her and Rey and Finn are going to develop a great relationship in this movie, and like she desperately wants to go rescue him. Just like they want to rescue. I
hope that's how it is.
Just like they want to rescue Han in episode 6.
Yes, I very much hope that is how that is, and we'll definitely see. Hopefully, we'll learn in the next couple weeks with the new trailer possibility. Yeah. We were kind of hoping it would be released on Force Friday, but obviously that's not happening. It looks like it's going to have to wait the next a couple more weeks, like JJ said.
And I hope the next trailer is the last trailer.
I think it will be the last trailer because
that's why they're waiting. Story. That's why they're waiting.
I think we'll get a full story, like what we'll know and a synopsis and everything.
Of course, we're going to get little TV spots, but
yes,
I want that to be the last.
Well, if you look at it from all the footage
trailer
we've seen so far, we don't have any kind of dialogue except for Han. Nobody has said anything.
Well, I mean, not like dialogue in the story. We have voiceovers with.
Well, so we have Snoke and Luke so far.
Yeah,
but Rey hasn't spoken.
Not direct dialogue to people. Though.
Rey, Poe, or Finn have not spoken a word in any kind of footage.
And I think they're just saving it.
It's going to be interesting to see how they sound, but also how they interact with each other.
Do you think John Boyega is going to use his accent or do an American accent?
I think he'll do it. I'm not sure. I think he might do American accent. Yeah, but I've heard he has a really good American accent.
So have I. I've heard that too.
I guess
but in Attack, have you seen Attack the Block?
I haven't.
Neither have I. But I heard in Attack the Block, he's using his regular accent, and it's really hard to understand him.
I guess he did the revival of 24. He was in a few episodes.
And he was doing an American accent. And it was really good. That's what I heard. So that's awesome. I think he's gonna do American accent.
What do you think about Rey?
American accent.
You think so?
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll wrap up our very first episode of the Padawan Podcast. I'd like to thank Jacob, to my sitting right across from me, for joining me today. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Gio join us today.
Yeah, he should be back for our next episode in a couple weeks, for sure.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having him join us. I know he's missing joining us today. Before we go, Jacob, where can the followers find you online?
Of course, you can find me on MovieTalkExpress.com. You can find me on YouTube at Movie Talk Express, on the MTE Movie Podcast, Rapid Fire Friday Movie News, and Comic Hero Talk once a month. And you can find me on Twitter at Jake Ryan Bartley, on Facebook, anywhere. And please check out MovieTalkExpress.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Movie Talk Express.
You can find me on the various social media sites at the Jake Berlin, also Twitter and Facebook for Apocaflix, and apocaflix.wordpress.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Make sure you check out both Movie Talk Express and Apocaflix for everything Star Wars and a bunch of other stuff. And until next time, may the Force be with you.
Oh, yeah, and from Jacob Fett and Qui-Gon Jake, or BB Jake.
Yeah, haven't decided yet.
If you think which name he should use, write it in the comment section. That'd be hilarious to hear from somebody. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. May the Force be with you.